Alright guys, I'm pretty late with this, but I'm gonna be storming Area 51. Wish me luck! I underestimated those guards, I really did. They let me out, we're giving me $1 million fine. So let's just try to pay that with YouTube money, I guess. So I'll give you my review for Area 51, top secret at Movie Park Germany.
Area 51, top secret, opened on the 6th of August 2019 and replaced the old Bermuda Triangle. Now, you would expect to now find a brand new experience here, but you would be wrong. A good way to describe Area 51 is by comparing it to those shampoo bottles that advertise with having new packaging. Like, okay cool, the shell looks a bit different, but everything else is the exact same. Let's just go all the way back to the beginning. The announcement that Bermuda would close to make way for Area 51. A lot of things were said, and only about 3 of those things actually happened. Being a new IMAscore soundtrack, a new turntable and a new paint job for the boats. And that is basically it. All the other things, such as the final scene completely changing, the top of the volcano getting removed and the old Aztec theming being removed, those all never happened. Anyway, enough complaining about the marketing, let's just look at the ride and see what they actually changed from the old Bermuda. It all, of course, starts by walking into the queue line, which actually has more theming than before. It now features a sign, a guard post and wooden transmission towers. Once you enter Groom Lake itself, you can already notice the huge American Air Force logo that has been placed on the pre-show building, as well as a guard watchtower over on the left. The Catapan queue itself got new signs, a new frame for the old screens, to make them look like vintage televisions which play commercials from the 40s and 50s, along with US Air Force commercials. The next room is the pre-show room, which is no longer skippable, too bad. The room itself is roughly the same as the old one. The only real difference is that the windows on the right are now replaced with screens that don't really add anything, but hey, they exist. And don't forget about the actors they added to the pre-show. The pre-show itself has a brand new video, and a goofy one at that. Doesn't really give you a mysterious vibe like the original ride. It does feature subtitles, so the non-German visitors know what's going on.
Alright, it's time to talk about the real meat of this review, the actual ride. And there's a lot to talk about. But that's mainly because I didn't talk about the original ride. If I did, there would not be a lot to talk about right now.
The ride starts going up the lift hill in the volcano. Oh, I'm sorry, they superglued 5 pieces of wood to the entrance, so it's a mine now. And they gave the volcano a red color, because desert? Anyway, you go up the lift hill with no lighting at all, and you plunge down into complete darkness. A really wet darkness. They most definitely made that drop wetter, somehow. The first scene you end up in is the teleportation room, which teleports you from the mines to Area 51. For some reason. I have no idea why they thought this was a good idea.
Think about it this way, if the army would actually give a tour through Area 51, why would they build a probably really expensive teleporter just to teleport people from Groom Lake to the actual base, if they've already built a probably equally expensive boat transportation system through the entire base? Where do they get their money from? Raising taxes? Oh wait, never mind.
It only takes one turn after this first scene to see your first aliens, which kills the whole suspense of, oh, I wonder when the aliens will show up. I mean, sure, you already know aliens are gonna show up because of the crash-landed UFO in the entrance, but that doesn't mean that you just hand them to me like I'm some kind of kindergartner who gets his milk packet handed to him during the lunch break. Anywho, these aliens are standing on some kind of Air Force machine thing.
I honestly have no idea what it is. If you told me it was an oversized butt plug, I would probably believe you.
The next scene is the first big scene of the ride. Well, it was. They separated it into 2 different scenes. And what ingenious method did they use to do this? Well, they used a giant camouflage net, of course. The scene is littered with broken planes and rockets. One of the planes even flies above your boat, an effect that Bermuda had as well, but it was broken for a really long time. This scene does really show the big budget cuts that the ride had experienced, because all the Mayan temple theming from Bermuda is still intact, even if it makes absolutely no sense in a military base. Once your boat passed under the camouflage net, you enter the next scene, where a few aliens are working on repairing a rocket of some sort, which does give you the indication that these aliens are working for the army, be it as paid workers or slaves. Probably it's slaves. Which gives you the impression that, oh, they aren't dangerous in any way, which makes the little bit of tension that was still left completely disappear.
Talking about the aliens, why do they just look like robots? The only thing that looks remotely alive about them is their brain. Looks like the money to give them a skin ran out mid-construction. The original Bermuda also had this problem, but, you know, I still don't get it.
One of the weirdest new additions to this scene is a screen, which shows some guy in a lab coat saying something. No idea what he's saying though, I don't speak German. The next scene however is even weirder. You enter a room where people, who have been kidnapped by the aliens through the ages, have been imprisoned, which made sense in the old Bermuda setting, but makes absolutely no sense in Area 51. They didn't change anything about it, so that scene is a huge eyesore when it comes to the setting they are trying to create. The next scene involves a lot of aliens working on computers, with one big screen in the middle, which shows some army higher-ups saying something in German, this time without subtitles. The next scene is just a small room with Tesla coils, not really one of the big scenes, so I'll just skip over it. The scene after that, however, probably my favorite scene in the ride. The right side of this scene is just one alien who is looking at some kind of alien god, I don't know what it is. But it isn't as important as what's happening in the back. There's a UFO that just starts to disappear. They used Pepper's ghost to achieve this, and I must say it looks good. The next scene is the second to last scene. Your boat is put on a turntable where you are surrounded by aliens behind computers, again. In front of you is a screen with some army higher-ups saying something, but you do notice that they are scared, and that something is about to happen. A funny detail is that the screen is first covered up by two big iron doors that open once you enter the turntable. However, these were broken for a really long time, back when this ride was still Bermuda. So what did they do? They also made animated doors on the screen, so just in case the doors would break down again, which is a good idea. But they made the animated doors open in the wrong direction, which makes you able to see both the real and animated doors at once. Yeah, it's really nitpicky, but hey, I have to do something with my life. After this scene, you float backwards into the finale, where some pillars collapse and water starts coming through the walls. I really love the fact that they finally repaired the water effects. The final lift hill is what follows, but not before you get turned back around by another turntable. This lift hill features alarm light to remind you that Area 51 is collapsing. What follows is the splash outside, ending the ride.
Overall, it's a pretty solid ride, but is it better than the original? Well, yes it is. All the effects got fixed, we got a new soundtrack and the capacity even got raised. But apart from that, it's mostly the same, and that disappointed me a little bit. I expected more change. But, did you notice a big plot hole? Because I sure did. Remember how you get teleported into Area 51? Well, when you leave, you just leave. You don't get teleported back, you just leave and go to the exit. Which makes that first teleporter completely useless and irrelevant, right? Anyway, now that I made a new YouTube video, it's time to check out how much money I made to pay the US government with. Demonet!